Hello, my beautiful followers. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. It is a dreary and cold day here in North Texas. And I was up early. I went to yoga. I rocked it out. Not really. I was trying not to fall asleep in the middle of a yoga class. It happens. No, it was a good class. But it is definitely a cold and dreary day here. So just sipping my coffee, doing my thing. Have a great day planned, but interestingly enough, one of the reasons I'm a little sleepy today is because I stayed up really late doing this journaling that I was kind of challenged by somebody in my life to do. I'm having hair fluff problems. I need like a hair fluff expert stat, like my hair is all fluffed out. So I was challenged by somebody in my life to do this journaling of going through each man that I've been with in my life, all my lovers, which was a challenge, or the ones that really stood out. You know, the ones that really stood out in my memory, the ones that were significant. And so it took a couple hours, but I ended up getting through everybody. By the end of the night, I actually ended up stopping and having to like take a breath. But the reason this came about was because I was noticing these patterns in relationships, which we all get into. We build these patterns. And I just wrote an article about it, so don't jump off now. But after this live, I suggest you go and read Ode to My Lovers. It was the article I wrote today, and it was just on this topic. I was looking at the patterns of the people coming into all these beautiful men coming into my life right now, but kind of some of the patterns they're bringing me and patterns that I don't necessarily want them to bring me. How I really would desire something else. And a friend was like, well, hello, go and look at the patterns. Like, where did this start? Like, what's going on? Like, where's the energy? And so I ended up looking at every single one of my lovers. And at first I was really resistant to the process. I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Not because I didn't want to look at the men, but because I was like, this is going to mirror my shadow. This is going to mirror my work. And I was like, I don't want to do work. I don't want to do work. No, actually, I love doing my inner work. But it was like I did feel this resistance. And I tell you that because I get time who will work with me one-on-one in a coaching atmosphere, and they'll be like, well, I mean, you don't have resistance. I'm like, yes, I do. I still have resistance. I'm still a human being. Things still come up. And so that's kind of why I'm sharing that piece of that. But I started looking at all these men thinking, oh, like all this negativity is going to stir because there is some negativity in my past lovers. There are some beautiful pieces in my past lovers. And I started going through, and it really highlighted that was beautiful because of that. You know, I have one man that I think of, and like, I just think of him and I smile. I smile because his smile could, even today, if he showed up right this second at my front door, he would make me smile. He would bring the biggest fucking smile to my face. Okay, there we go. I think even of lovers that I had kind of difficult disconnections with. And I think of them, and I think of the people we were in that moment, and it is truly beautiful. There were such beautiful lessons in those moments. And as I went through each and every person, I found this great love, not in love, but great love for each of my lovers, whether it was they were a lover for a couple days or they were a lover for a couple years. I found this beautiful connection to the person I was, and also the person they were in that moment. Person they were in that moment. And the memories. And really just, it comes down to the lessons. And I'm sharing this because I think we can look at old relationships and we focus in on this negativity. And yes, there might be some relationships we focus in on the positivity, but instead of looking at the lessons, we focus in on, yeah, they did this for me, yeah, they did that for me or to me, or we get in our ego, we get into our victim state. Instead of looking at the deeper meaning of the relationships, why we pulled somebody in. Like I said, I started this because the last 2 or 3 guys that I've dated have been very, very similar. And I'm going, okay, what are my lessons here? What are my lessons? What is the pattern? Where am I seeing something continue to come? Where do I have a thought that is unconscious or conscious that I am manifesting into my world? But we don't tend to look at our lovers like that. We tend to go, well, he's like that, or she's like that, or he did that, or she did that. And we go into our victim and we miss out on the patterns. The patterns. When we are in a low point, we will pull somebody else different into our life. And when we are in a high point, we will pull a different kind of energy person into our life at that point. We will, like I was going through, because I started at the very beginning, and so it was a lot of journaling. I looked at ones where I was like, wow, I was really insecure in that relationship and that with that lover. And then I would look at like now, and like some of the dynamics have flipped in relationship, and so I'm like, where am I creating that? And it actually is a beautiful process. And so I actually challenge everybody to go and do that. Go and do that and look at why you pulled each person into your life, all your lovers. And if you are married and you're like, no, I've only been with the same person my whole life, that's okay. You can still get something out of looking at your relationships. It doesn't mean that you have to look at each person you've had sex with, but you can look at the relationships that you have, your friends, your family, your sister, your best friend, and you can still see the lessons. You can still see these pieces. And I challenge you to look at the patterns. And what I ended up actually, there's like a million, I don't hashtag, like that's not a thing in my world. I might look young and look like a millennial, but I'm not. I'm past that. You know, I didn't get into the whole hashtag thing, but I ended up finding myself like hashtag and like naming guys and like hashtag like lesson, hashtag this lesson, hashtag that lesson. And it was interesting because as I went through, I saw, okay, like I have a similar hashtag under under these few men, and I have a similar hashtag under lesson basically under these few men. And where was the energy shift? Where did that energy shift, for the better or for the worse? And we can even take traumatizing relationships. Like I think of one beautiful, well, it wasn't beautiful in the moment. It was actually quite traumatizing in the moment, and it took me a while to get over it. But there was this moment in sex with one lover a couple years ago, and there was a massive moment of trauma because he stepped into a kind of sex that I was just not wanting to step into, and it just triggered me. It triggered me, and it caused some physical damage, and it was just not a good moment. But I can even look at that moment and putting some time between it, looking at it and going, okay, where was my lesson there? Where did I call that in? Where's the lesson? And I wrote an article many years ago. It had to be like 5 years ago now that I wrote this article that I asked for my sexual trauma. And this is along the same lines, but it's looking at it from a lover perspective, somebody that you have called in and you invited into your world, that you said, I'm going to step in here. I'm going to choose this person. And so it is looking at those moments, those little moments with each person, but looking at them from a state of gratitude, which I think we really struggle with. We really struggle to look at the gratitude, and even the gratitude for the horrible situation so we could grow or expand. There was some, in my article today, I wrote some moments of like, wow, that was real heartbreak. That was like, at that time for me, that was real heartbreak. That was me really, really feeling ripped apart. Such gratitude for those moments, for the growth, for the resiliency that brought me. And I can look at my clients and they have similar, hold on, I'm reading. Lovers, yep. Yep, I am talking about my lovers, Freeman, yep. It's the name of the live stream. And I can think of my clients, and I talk to my clients all the time, and they will be dating. I have a lot of clients right now that are dating, and they're like, well, she was just crazy, or he was just crazy, and this happened, and they continue, and they really struggle to look at, well, why do people keep abandoning you, or why do you keep calling in these women that are really masculine energy, and when you're speaking that you desire a feminine energy in your life, you know, why do you keep getting these men that don't focus on you sexually at all and totally bypass you and are focused in on them just getting theirs? Where are you pulling that into your life? What are your thought patterns when you're dating? What are your inner thoughts and your inner emotions? Where are you creating vibration? Where are you creating a pattern? Where maybe are you not setting boundaries or speaking your true desires and needs? There's so much to this. There is truly so much to this. And we will keep creating the same pattern over and over again and get the same fucking lesson over and over again until we actually get it. Until we not only get it from here, but we get it in here. And that's the difference. We can go, oh yeah, no, I see that, I learned that, I got it. No, but do you feel it? Are you implementing it? Have you truly learned it, or can you just recite it? Can you just go, oh yeah, no, like here's my lesson. No, but do you feel it? Do you feel that lesson? Can you look at it and go, I really do have gratitude for that. I do have gratitude for that moment. I really do. And if you can't, then you probably still need to do some processing on it. You probably need to do some self-love, because in truth, the people in our lives are just mirrors of us. They are simply mirrors. Each of our relationships, especially our intimate relationships, are just mirrors. They're complete mirrors to us. They are the shadow pieces. They are the light pieces. So when you are in a relationship with, I'm focused on lovers right now, but if you're in a relationship with, for me, a man, and that man brings you these dark pieces and also is bringing you these light pieces, you have to own both of those. You have to go, okay, what piece of me am I calling in? What is he mirroring to me right now? What is he mirroring this beautiful lightness? Is he mirroring this beautiful darkness? Well, guess what? Both of those pieces are in you, or there is a resistance to them in you. There is something to be learned. There is something to be learned in all of that. And so I challenge you today, I really do. I challenge you to look at your relationships. It's better if you look at your sexual relationships. But if, like I said, if you've been married for years, I know I have a couple clients right now that'd be like, how do I do that, Addison? I've been married to the same woman for 20 years and I didn't really have anybody before. Well, then look at your relationships. Look at the other connections in your world, the places that you have a draw, an intimacy, and really go deep. Look at the similarities. Look at where they trigger you. Look at the beautiful lessons and the lessons that are harder. And then look at the patterns. Start to look at the patterns. Do you like the pattern you're seeing? Are you pulling in the people you desire? Did you used to have a pattern that you're like, wow, that was a great pattern, and it shifted? Well, you can shift it back. Or did you used to have this horrible pattern, but now you're really getting into your groove, and how can you grow that? How can you expand that? And if you need help with that, you can, I do my one-on-one coaching with anybody in the world. But to really look at it yourself and really look at the yummy and the juiciness, like it was, I think I finished journaling at like midnight or something, and I was like, wow, this is really yummy and juicy. Like looking at this, it's hard to look at some of it. Some of it was hard to look at. It wasn't easy. All the journaling wasn't easy. Some of it, there were some guys and I was like, this is like, I love writing about him because he does. Like, that energy stirs me because he was a beautiful soul. But there was definitely some lovers that I wrote about, and I was like, I feel the stir of lots of emotion. I felt tears. I laughed. I felt sadness. There was the gamut of emotions in this journaling, but to see it and to feel it and to see the growth and the patterns and the expansion was so beautiful, was so incredibly beautiful. And it takes courage to do this work because you have to look at your own shit. Our relationships always come back down to us. We have to look at self. We have to look at what we are bringing to a relationship, what we are calling in. What are we calling in from our thoughts and our vibration, from our intentions, from our boundaries? Really looking at all of those different pieces. And so that is really my message for today, is to look at all your lovers. And I mean lovers in the state of people you truly love. People that, if you're doing some of the journaling, like, of course, some sexual lovers. But again, people that you have this deep, loving relationship with. So looking deeper into all of those relationships and those patterns. And it is truly amazing what you find. And I challenge you to also, underneath, like, hit some key points. Don't just journal each person out. Like, there's a couple people that I have like a page or two on, but I hit the highlight points. Like, what's your takeaway? What's your hashtag? What's your hashtag? What's your lover's hashtag? But kind of hitting those key points so that you know your takeaway. And then diving into it to learn your lesson, maybe at a new level, at a different place. And then loving yourself at a different level as well, because that's what ends up happening. You end up seeing pieces of yourself and loving and accepting self at a different place. I found myself really, really more in love with the person I was years and years ago, and looking at, like, wow, like, there's things I would do completely different now. But I love that girl. I love that girl because she was a girl. I love that girl and and the lessons she learned in that moment. So anyway, I think you got the gist today. On another note, I have my Aphrodite circles if you're in the DFW area. Other than that, that's really all I want to announce today. It's really all I want to announce. I should have a new podcast I'm doing in a little while. That should be coming out relatively soon. And I will make sure to post that on my page for all of you beautiful followers. Other than that, just go have an amazing day. I would love to hear how this journaling process goes for you, what you come up with in the process. If you find your lessons, I would love to hear them in the comments or private message me, because I know this is some really deep and intimate work. So let me know, and I would love to hear it. Other than that, like, share, comment. Help me get my message out there, and I will see you guys tomorrow for another Addison Leash. Love y'all. Bye.